Welcome back. This is the C-130J Hercules module, or mod, I should say, by Anubis. I believe Anubis is the only person working on this module, or mod. I keep saying module, I'm so used to saying module in DCS, but this is a mod. This is a free mod, and it doesn't have, it's still under construction, but it doesn't necessarily have all of the functionality that one would want in a cargo plane in DCS. However, some of that functionality can be gained using, I think you need to download Mist and do some fairly heavy Lua scripting, but which I haven't done, but there are guides on how to do that, and things like that. So some of the functionality is there, it's just a little bit harder to obtain. It's not native to DCS necessarily. A lot of the limitations of this mod are limitations of the DCS engine, not necessarily the mod, and I actually think it's fairly clever how Anubis has worked around some of that. And anyway, there's a lot of functionality inherent to it here in DCS without the scripting that I think is pretty slick. First of all, just it being a free mod, I didn't expect a clickable cockpit and clickable things in the cargo area. I didn't expect to be able to full reverse the engines. It has beta mode, and it's fairly easy to work, once you figure out how to do it. And it's easy to use it for nefarious things that you're not really supposed to use it for in real life, like trying to slow down a little bit in a dive. I don't believe that they're supposed to do that. I don't believe that beta mode is really intended to be used in flight. So, but it's fun to fly around, using it. Cargo bay doors open and close. I'll show that here in a little bit. It's got a startup procedure and so on and so forth. So there's just a lot of really good features on this aircraft, and it has a unique flight model, and there are some limitations on it too at the moment, but I think some of those will be fixed as time goes on. So anyway, but it does have a unique flight model that's being tweaked, I think, as time goes on, and it looks good. It's a fairly detailed model, which is always nice because some of the stuff that's in DCS still hasn't been updated to high poly count models. So anyway, yeah, there's a lot of things. I'm just sort of like checking these things off the top of my head. But it has a lot of movable things and clickable things and interactive things with it, and it looks good and it flies really well. It's super fun to fly. I know that there's a lot of interest in it in the community, and I believe Eagle Dynamics has said in the past that they're not going to do Ford engine aircraft. I wish that they would, or at least open up that capability a little bit more for mod makers and module developers, because there is a lot of interest in things like this. I know we focus on the combat aircraft quite a bit, and I certainly don't want Eagle Dynamics taking their foot off the gas when it comes to things like the F-16 and a lot of their technical debt that's sort of stuck there. It's already been paid for, but they've got to use human resources and capital to get it solved. I don't want them taking their eye off of that to work on stuff like this. But there's always the possibility of third-party developers working on things like this. And I also think it's unfortunate. This is just me ranting a little bit here, but I also think it's unfortunate that they are so heavy-handed when it comes to even donations for people like Anubis. People do put a lot of work into this stuff, and I know it's not official, and I know that you can't get paid for it. But even donations, the guys that make mods like this, and the A4 Skyhawk mod, and those are the two best mods, I think, in my opinion. out there. Although there are some others that I think show a lot of work and dedication, but these guys, they have to repeatedly decline donations and things like that. I'm sure that there are ways that they can get donations, but I've seen Eagle Dynamics even come down pretty hard on people for just for other folks asking about donating money, you know. So I guess these guys can make some money through YouTube channels and Twitch streams and stuff like that, which is good. I know that whenever I do livery work and mission work and things like that, and YouTube videos and all that, you know, it's always nice to be recognized, but a little bit of financial support can go a long ways to motivating you to keep working on it. So anyway, enough of that rant. It's cool. This thing has its own startup procedure. I don't necessarily know it, but I'm going to show a little bit of me fuddling through it here in a minute. I don't know how accurate this is, but it's cool that, you know, you can rotate these dials and flip these switches, and the cockpit, you know, it's not necessarily a great looking cockpit, but things have a place right now, and it's clear that there's been a lot of work done on this cockpit. And since I know it's still under construction, you know, I have hope that at some point in the future more will be modeled and it'll look a little bit better, and the display on the glass up there will actually work correctly. But for right now, you know, the HUD works, and the doors open and close and all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of, I think that the priorities have been set properly on this module. So at least in my opinion. So there we go with engine start sequences. You know, Eagle Dynamics, or I guess DCS World, I believe that the initial intent was always to kind of have this all-encompassing battlefield where you've got people in control of ships and people in control of ground units and people in control of airplanes. And I don't think that's ever going to happen. I know a lot of people have a dream for that to happen someday. There have been other games that have tried to do it as well. I think it's a really good goal. I think it's something that I really hope they continue working towards it. But they honestly can't keep up with the things that they're doing well enough to really worry about that kind of stuff, you know. But this is the type of aircraft or module, whatever you want to call it, that would be necessary for something like that. You know, you'd need some cargo planes, and we quite frankly, we have a cargo helicopter that you can technically turn it into gun. We have at least two. You can turn them into attack helicopters, but they don't make great attack helicopters. They're really intended to be cargo helicopters, and you know that they've been received very well in the community. So a cargo plane, it doesn't surprise me that the community really loves this mod, and I think that the community would receive it really well. So here we're waiting on our hydraulic pressure to build up so we can close these cargo doors. I have these mapped to switches on my HOTAS, but I just wanted to point out that there are clickable switches back here as well, which is pretty slick. And apparently you can walk around the cargo bay. I haven't quite figured out how to walk around the cargo bay, but if you want to manually open and close the paratrooper jump doors, you have to do that from walking around, I think. So anyway, there's lots of cool features on this aircraft, and backing up is my favorite one. But that's it for now. You know, I'm sure I've left some stuff out because I'm just sort of rambling about the experiences that I've had with it. But I would highly recommend checking it out unless you're just you know, a fast jet kind of a guy or girl. I think that this one's well worth checking out, and flying around in. It's a lot of fun. So I can't think of anything else to say at the moment, but other than additionally go, you know, holler at Anubis and give him some encouragement and some support, because this is a really cool mod, and I think that it's been done really, really well. With that, thank you for watching.